It's finally summertime. So what do you do with your wagons in the summer? Take a road trip, of course. So we're going to take a road trip to a Great Wolf Lodge, take our kids, and we're all three of my brothers are all taking our wagons. But before we go, we got to repair this one. It's got a little bit of a road walk issue, and it's also wore out one of the front tires. So we're going to see what's causing that problem today, and hopefully fix it. Ooh, not good. Those are bad. Yeah, I guess it's worse than I thought, so. The tire was just a symptom of the real problem. What had happened is this bottom nut had come loose and allowed the ball joint to shimmy around inside the hole and waller out the bottom of the spindle. Look at how deformed this washer is. It's toast. The first step I usually do is just take these little cotter pins out that are holding in your tie rod ends and ball joints. The best tool I've found to remove cotter keys is just a side cutter pliers. You have to take out this lower Allen screw on these Granada brakes. These are really tight, so get you a little cheater bar. There you go. And it has this slider right here. You gotta bang that out. Slider has a little spring clip on it that holds it and holds the tension on it. It's kind of a unique design. Remove the caliper and swing that out of the way. Next, take this lower ball joint or lower tie rod end off. To get the tie rod end out, you don't need a pickling fork. You can just hit it right there on the side with a hammer. But make sure you put your nut back on to protect your threads. But if you hit it with a sledgehammer right on that side, that is tapered and it'll pop it loose. It's that easy. So I couldn't record hitting it with the hammer because I can't hold the camera and whack it at the same time, but you can see it popped it loose. Next step, take your lower ball joint, bolt out, and cotter key, and the same thing for the top one. Both cotter keys out, you want to get this top bolt. Don't take the nut all the way off. So we're going to release it here in a minute. And we don't want it just falling straight out and popping that spring loose. Okay. Gotta put the jack under it first. Right? Yep. I didn't even have to hit the bottom one because it's loose, yeah. It's so loose. Ooh. It's only riding in that one little area. Yeah, spindle is definitely wore out, and I'll show you what is wrong with these. Obviously, the lower bolt was not tight enough, and it allowed it to waller out the lower ball joint. This is a tapered reamer. This is for making these larger. Well, it's the same. So check this out. That's how it fits in the new one. See how it's nice and tight? Here's the old one, same hole. So when you're driving on the road, this is your lower ball joint. It's just wobbling around in there, allowing your front wheel to move in and out. Amazingly enough, disc brakes fit on 57 Fords pretty easy. You just use a Granada spindle, and I've got a company that sells these. And they bolt right onto a 57 Ford with a little modification, and I'll show you how you do that. So there's the upper ball joint, and if you can see, this just slides on. Perfect fit. Also, the tie rod end, that fits too. That's a nice fit. But when you get to the bottom ball joint hole, you see, it's not big enough. You have to use a tapered reamer. Don't just try to die grind that out. You actually have to use what they call a tapered reamer. So we need to make this bottom hole slightly larger than it was to accept that lower ball joint. And this is the same on every 57 Ford. So I think I got this from like Eastwood, but this is a tapered reamer. You want to make sure it's a nice and sharp one. Just take your drill and run it in here and go really slow. These are softer than you think, so you can go too far real fast. Once you go too far, it'll look like that other one, and then you got to start over, which means buying a new one of these. So, oh man, I wish you could smell the Harbor Freightness here. Not only is the bit smoking, but so is the drill. So we will see if this drill can make it through this whole process. I have to give this credit. It was used a few times. I mean, probably half a dozen times, but you can see it burned right on that one piece there. So these are like $100. So you don't want to ruin them. Although I had to buy a new one this time. So just add that to the tally. Okay, we finished finally reaming out that hole on the bottom of the spindle. So now we just got to disassemble this. We need to take this bracket that mounts the brakes on and the rotor and back shield off and transfer it to the other. Bring this brake caliper bracket onto this new spindle. These need to be really tight. They're also Loctited on, so. And you want to take this dust shield and put it back on. It only goes one way, so. I finished assembling the brakes, and then the next stop was the alignment shop. I really like this guy. He likes to work on cars like I do. This is his own 69 Mach 1 Mustang. Next, we get in our cars and we drive to the Great Wolf Lodge. Except we didn't, because of COVID. As much as I'd like to say we made it, unfortunately it never happened. Mostly due to mechanical failure and the COVID shutdown in Texas. So we changed our plans a little. Now instead of going to Great Wolf Lodge, we decided to go to Austin to visit my brother and help him out with his wagon.
Hi, we're going to Austin taking the 57 Ford wagon.
So we hit the road and we drove over 500 miles that day in the hot summer heat. Over 100-degree temperatures, but our air conditioners kept up. And every gas station we stopped at was like a car show. After a long day, we finally made it to the beautiful town of Austin, Texas, where we stopped for dinner and we met my little brother. And for the first time, we had all three of our wagons in one place. The whole trip to Austin wasn't without a purpose. Next time, we lay the wood to this 1958 Edsel wagon. Shot.
We're going to Austin.
Taking what?
The 57 Ford wagon. Right?
Yeah.